you and the house.
You have me, the house, a car, and all
Meals.
touring,
And
and all meals.
I mean, I think we should do that.
We'll pair you with someone you don't know, and you take the 2 bedrooms, and if it's 4 people, you have to know each other.
Right, that makes sense.
I
And
love
if you
this.
don't, then you get the 2 bedrooms by yourself. Use one as a sitting room. I don't care, but I don't.
You
put
don't
together
push the people in.
that don't know each other. I teach cooking, but I don't teach recipes.
Would Hannah
I
love
teach theory.
Ah,
What are you trying
what
to
mixes,
do?
I love
right.
this.
Isn't that a great idea?
Hannah would
Yeah.
love this.
Well, I mean, some people will make an omelet and they won't cook the peppers all the way through, and they don't get the juice from it. So you're crunching peppers in an omelet. You don't know the theory. You
It's
don't
the
know
technique,
that the
right.
peppers have to be cooked aside very wonderfully, taking their oils out, and then you infuse them in. Just simple things like theory. And
then when it comes to the recipe, you know what to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
But the other thing is, I'm kind of like a little bit. What was I going to say? I don't mix things. I don't. I kind of cook authentically because I studied in Italy, and I think if you're going to make, for instance, a very simple dish, which is a carbonara, you can't assume that you're going to do something better that these people have been doing for 1,000 years. Now, you can make a beef stew and say, well, I throw this in it and I throw that in it. That's okay. But if you're going to make like a la matriciana from the town of La Matrice, it's got to be cooked with gincali. All pastas have to be cooked and infused in the sauce you make. It's never putting on top. That's a theory. So you have to know that. You always, gincali is the cheek of a pig. So it's like a pancetta, but it's got the most beautiful salty taste. So you render that down. You don't put garlic. You don't put onions. All the things that people think they know, because you want to. It's a different dish. It's the same with, like, people come in and think that bolognese is, meat sauce with tomatoes. It's not. It's wine and milk. If you don't use wine and milk, you're just making a meat sauce. You're not making bolognese, which comes from Bologna. That is the infusion of milk and wine with the tomatoes. And so.
And meat also?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
bolognese is
3
meat.
meats. You have to use 3 meats, or it doesn't work. You have to use veal, pork,
And lamb?
Or you can use one of but you can use, and you have to render that down. But the point is that it's not the tricks, but it's what separates you from a restaurant.
Right.
It really separates. How did they do this? How did they get this flavor mixed in? Well, the first thing you learn when you go to Italy and you cook in Italy is there is no Italian pasta made that is not cooked in the sauce. That was an American thing that happened years ago.
Because we always
take
cook.
the tomatoes and you put no, you don't do that. Whatever your sauce is making, you take at least your pasta after it's done. You put it in the sauce and you cook them both together for 30 seconds, a minute, and all of a sudden those two are fused, and it's. I mean, if I'm in a restaurant like in Montana's in Sestri Levante, and I had a particular fabulous fruta di mare, which is shrimp and scallops and olive oil and garlic. I couldn't believe how it wasn't oily. It wasn't just sitting on top and all this oil and things. So I said to my friend, I said, how did he get this? Oh, he says, come in the kitchen, I'll show you. So I went in and I see he cooks the pasta, and then he takes some water from the pasta, which is very starchy.
That's how I was told about that, but I never saw it.
Yeah, so then when he's got the olive oil and the garlic there, and he puts the pasta and everything, he starts pouring in the starchy water just to get it smooth and silky and get rid of all the oil. And it's theory. It's theory, how to cook an omelet. Everybody knows how to cook an omelet.
How do you cook
Cordon Bleu? Yeah, I go in and sit in on things. And somebody asked the old chef, he must have been 90, and they said, how do you pick new teachers? And he says, it's very simple. What dish do you make them? And the first thing they want to come up is something complicated like a cassoulet, where you have to infuse the duck with the And he said, no, I just watched them make an omelet. He said, that's what you asked them to do? He said, that's it. I've asked them to make an omelet. First of all, in an omelet, pan has to be, it has to be so hot, just before the fire engines come, you put the eggs in, okay? Because it's got to sizzle. It's got to sit in the pan and go like that, and the eggs get...
Butter or oil?
Well, if you use butter, which is good, you have to use oil, because the butter will burn. Right. So you've got to use a little bit of oil so that the temperature comes up. Little bit. But it's these things. It's not...
All technique based on theory.
It's just on theory. What are you trying to do? The simpler, the less ingredients, the better.
Right.
You know, if one of the things that Cordon Bleu, one of the old guys say is, look, he said, all the Nouvelle cooking, that's wonderful. That is artists, and they're very good at it, and they make soufflés out of out of eggplant. And he said that's a whole other style. He said, but if you're cooking at home, he said, you can't do that kind of cooking every day. You're cooking every day, 3 times a day.
You need something quick.
You need to. He said, so if you're cooking a carrot, I prefer it to taste like a carrot. Says, why are you making carrots if you want it to taste like, something else? He said,